right, welcome to game 2 of the third day NPA session. We got LBA taking on Lincoln Prep. Both teams looking to get into the win column. We just saw CSJV pull out a win against North Star. If you're joining us now for the first time, my name is Joe Musa, head of scouting for North Pole Hoops. With me, I got Tariq Spate, founder of NPH. How we doing, Tariq?
We had a wild one, the last one. North Star down big. I know they made the comeback, weren't able to finish it off, but showing some fight. What are your thoughts on that one?
That was a good game. I think North Star started off slow and it costed them. They were down by as much as 30. Cut it to as little as 3. But in the end, CSJV pulled it out. It was a great matchup between the two bigs. Shakib Sadoud and Chadarak Lasu, they each had 15+ rebound double-doubles.
You're one of your standouts from Algeria.
Yeah.
He performing once again.
Yeah, Sadoud.
Like. How about this one here? We got Lincoln Prep back at it, going against LBA, a Southwest Ontario matchup. What are your prediction on this one?
I'm expecting an evenly matched game. Both teams looking to get into the win column, like I said. Randawa hitting the 3.
Yesterday's game for Lincoln Prep, they played Fort Erie. One of my biggest takeaway was what they've done defensively throughout the game. They weren't able to pull it out, but let's see if they can maintain that in this game, and it'll be interesting to see if that's like a part of their identity or if they're up and down with the intensity level.
Comes Gurdeep Khalsi, had a strong game yesterday against Fort Erie. Dante Cole. Fumble inside, couldn't get it to go. Up ahead, wide open, no good. Nice take. Kelsey to get to the line. We got a quick start here already, 11-9, less than 5 minutes in.
Kelsey was a standout yesterday, especially in the first half. 6'5", 2024, I believe. I'll fact check that. The 2024 Kelsey?
I believe he's a 25.
Okay. That would be even more interesting. 2025, 6'4", guard. Able to score it from different areas on the floor. He showcases athleticism. It is confirmed, 2025.
Yep.
Showing his skill, his athleticism. 3-level scorer.
Foul on the defense. Nice take, no good though.
He had a lot of those yesterday as well where, like we said, he's able to get to his spots, but sometimes not able to finish at point-blank range.
Terrence Booker was huge yesterday for LBA. Solid point guard. Steered the ship, facilitating, scoring. We talked about the fact that he sees plays a lot of the times before they're developing, and he's able to hit guys in stride, which is huge as a point guard.
I think he's going to have a great opportunity to build his name throughout the course of the season and just build his profile as one of the upper echelon point guards in the class.
Yep. Stoddart at the line for Lincoln.
What? Sorry, go ahead.
6'10", 2025 forward.
I know you mentioned Joe Shadrach Lasso in that last game, and had a big performance. What are your thoughts on him? I mean, coming into it, I had seen some clips, some highlights.
Yeah.
6'8", long, athletic, covers a lot of ground defensively. Seems like a versatile type of player. I know he's right now building his name. Not too many people know him coming from Manitoba, but what were your thoughts? Like, how would you break down his game?
Yeah, so the thing with him is when they were down for a lot of that game, what he was doing is he was settling a lot of the times. So he was in the screen a lot of the times, setting screens for his guard, but he was popping out, settling for threes, and they were going in. Fourth quarter came along. Difference he made was he started to attack the rim. Instead of picking and popping, he started picking and rolling. When he was doing that, the defense was collapsing. He started to find guys outside, or he started to attack. The whole game, he did a good job of defending and rebounding, but it wasn't until the fourth quarter where he started to assert himself on the offensive end. I think if he was in attack mode from the start of the game, the result could have been different. He ended up the game with, I think, 17 and 17. Wow. A couple blocks, so a big stat line. But with that, he could have done a lot better, I think, on the offensive end. He's still trying to figure out his game. I think if he puts a little size onto his frame, he'll be able to bang down low a little more. And if he does that, then he's just a lot more effective than just settling for jumpers at 6'8", especially if they're not going down. So I think by the end of the season, I definitely like where he's going to be trending towards.
I mean, 17 and 17, not bad.
Not bad
Add a little bit
yeah.
more, you get to a 30-17 game with a back-to-basket game.
Yep.
He's an interesting prospect, definitely on the national radar for college coaches. Shadrach Lasso for North Star Prep.
Here's Toby for three. That one's good. 15-14, a little back and forth affair so far. Two evenly matched teams representing Hamilton and London. There's Owen Frayne, no good. Long rebound collected by Kelsey inside to Dante Cole.
Dante was consistent yesterday as well. I mean, you could look at him as one of the top 3 primary scorers on Lincoln.
Yep.
Not too much size on this Lincoln Prep team.
Yeah.
They have a couple guys in that 6'7" range, but for the most part, they do a good job of just playing tenacious, moving off the ball, getting out in transition.
Here's Booker. No good on the layup there. Rebound, Frayne. Gets it out to Gurdeep. Attacking. Ball's gonna stay with Lincoln.
I've been impressed by the coaching so far, Joe, that I've been seeing, over the last couple of days. Right now you have Chris Matthew for Lincoln Prep and Angelo Provenzano.
Yep.
And then we have, we have Royal Crown coming up, and Mike DeGiorgio over there, long time basketball. He's covered ground on all levels. U of T, Scarborough Shooting Stars. He's really coached at every level, and to be able to have guys of that caliber coaching these young guys, it's a kind of a testament to what Canadian basketball is going to become.
Yep. Even with Ridley, Victor Razzo, head coach and general manager of the River Lions in CEBL, head coach of Ridley. So massive learning experience for these young players to be coached and taught by some high-profile coaches in the game. And a lot of times what I'm finding in the scene in general is games are decided more so by the coaching as opposed to the talent. Like, you can have a team that's more talented than the other, but a team like LBA, for example, they're going to compete against a lot of teams because of their coaching. They're going to play disciplined defense. They're going to play a even-keeled offense type of thing, and they're going to share the rock. They're not going to force both teams here.
But even the last game, Joe, like, you know, North Star was down, I believe, what,
Yup,
32 to 3 in the end
yup,
of the first
it was
quarter.
crazy. Yeah.
They could have like shut it down and got blown out and embarrassed,
Yep.
but you know, Darren must have said Darren Leonard, the head coach at North Star, must have said something for them to be able to make such a big comeback. I was watching the broadcast from the hotel, and when I left and I saw a comeback, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
They were down. They went from 30 down to 6 down at one
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know that we're in October. That's something we have to remember.
Yeah.
Us as North Pole Hoops, and as we kind of keep rolling the season through, but also, you know, the coaches and the programs, they're going through a long process. I mean, it's a 6-month plus commitment for the season, and I know players or coaches could get down early in the season.
Yep.
But it's all about how you respond. How do you make the adjustments? How do you take the whole session, that first session, and come back the following month? That's the cool thing about this league, is that because it's in session format, you're able to go back to the drawing board, play other games, and apply it there in tournaments or whatnot.
Yep.
And then come back the following month, a different team.
Yep. For sure. Able to see noticeable improvements session by session. Next one will be hosted North Pole Hoops headquarters, Burlington, Ontario, next month. But the basketball doesn't stop at North Pole Hoops. The next weekend after this one, we'll be hosting NPH
D1.
D1. And then the weekends after that, it's going to be the NPH Showcase League, grades 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is the first weekend of all leagues starting. But after this, we're going basically every weekend up until the spring.
Yep.
So it's going to be good.
The road to the finals in March has begun.
Yep. So that'll do it for action-packed first quarter, 26-22. We're going to take a quick break and return. All right, second quarter action coming at you live from Fort Erie International Academy. It's a beautiful facility, home of premier prep program in Canada, but we're not watching them. We're watching LBA and Lincoln Prep right now. Going back and forth, trading buckets. Booker, floater, no good that time. Owen Frame pushing, finds Kelsey. Lay for two. 8-point lead now for Lincoln. Nice defense by Nate guarding the perimeter at 6'10". Kelsey gets it. It's like all 5 guys for Lincoln can catch it off the glass and bring it up, essentially. That just makes them...
Yeah, I mean, they get, and you can see it in the transition buckets that they get. There they go, trying again. Whether it's in the passing lanes, they pick off some steals in the half court, or like you said, off the rim.
They're going to get it and go. Saves time having to just get it, look for the 1 point guard every time. It's like, no, you get it, just push it.
Well, they're playing to their personnel too, right?
Yep.
You have a guard-heavy squad. Everyone can run.
Kelsey for 3, short. Nice save by Nate on the long board. Gets it back out to the top. Owen Frayne for 3, no good.
Big board. Oh, no way.
Here comes LBA.
There it is again. I like the idea there.
Yep.
Booker saw his man in transition, but couldn't put a fork in it on that one.
Yep. So Owen Frayne and Gurdeep Kelsey have got 10 apiece for Lincoln.
Wow. Strong start early on.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, you know, this is the first session. Everyone's feeling each other out. Everyone's trying to understand, like, who's who, what's what, including us.
Yep.
But then you have, like, you know, the coaches are scouting, you know, asking questions about different teams and whatnot. It's the beginning of the season. Everyone's just trying to see where they stack up.
Yeah, exactly. Toby for 3. There is Tyreek DaCosta. He's another solid contributor for them. Yesterday, turnover that time though, careless on the pass. Clean up crew is there. The Marion Ennis Hurst for LBA that time. Oh,
okay.
Try to punch that. 6'10". Nate's.
All right. Haven't seen that from him yet in the last 2 games.
Yeah, another. Basically, their whole team is actually class of 2025s. Aside from a couple 26s they've got.
Okay. Nice little nucleus to build on for next season.
Yeah.
But, you know, what he did there in terms of attacking the rim, like, that was a decision.
Yep.
You know, there's no reason he can't do that on a more consistent basis, not necessarily it being a dunk or attempted dunk each time, but to go up strong, to be a presence down low, because that's going to open up the rest of the floor if he can be an interior threat, as we see Jason Tom walking through here, the director of CBL basketball operations, former NPA commissioner in the house. Were you aware of this?
Oh, of course. He came, showed some love earlier.
Always nice to see J. Tom in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Again, part of this ecosystem that we talk about, you know, whether it's players, whether it's coaches, whether it's industry professionals, it's all like a web of people that are kind of, some have been around for, you know, 20, 30, 40 years, and others are, you know, coming up in the next generation.
Yep.
You got to love this game, man. It's a game of stamina.
Oh,
you know,
we talk about it all the time, right?
To be able to really be in the space.
Stamina. You really got to love it.
Not a popularity contest.
Yeah.
You know, it's a matter of work. It's a matter of grinding.
Yep.
It's a matter of loving the game.
I like that. Not a popularity contest. It's true. Just because
really
it's a sport and a nice, flashy sport at that doesn't mean you're here to be cool or look cool. You got to spend long hours in the gym, late nights, early mornings. You got to travel. You got to hit the road. But
identify a role as well.
Yep, that too.
You know, which takes time, especially if you're younger, figuring out what do you want to do. Do you want to do media? Do you want to do scouting? Do you want to do marketing?
Yeah. Figuring out something that you can thrive in, so you can kind of go 2 feet in, depending how you know how much you really want to get out of it. But find the more you love something, the higher chance you're gonna go all in it. So.
Absolutely.
Owen Frayne with the board. Here's Gurdeep. Nice pass. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Good D by LBA. Foul called, though.
That's a tough call. They played a full
Yeah.
24-second possession there. About to get the shot clock violation, but LBA gets called for the foul. What do you got on the Swish stats report, Joe?
So we've got so far, I want to look at the team stats right now. So I always like to look at a couple things. I like to look at the rebounding battle, because the great Pat Riley said, you control the glass, you control the game. So right now, no coincidence that Lincoln Prep is winning this game, and they got a +6 advantage on the glass. And then I also like to look at the assists. Who's sharing the rock? 12 assists for Lincoln compared to 7 assists for LBA. So just telling signs of how the game's been going. Usually there is a correlation to winning when it comes to assist numbers, rebounding, all that type of stuff. I like to keep my eye on that in terms of player stats. The Swish app has the leaders for each game, everything from game flow to shot charts. Currently, Owen Frame, Gurdeep Kelsey got 10 apiece for Lincoln, and then LBA, Toby Izinwa's got 10.
Stats brought to you by Swish. And if you guys haven't downloaded it, go to your Google store, your Play Store, type in Swish app, and you'll be able to follow live stats for every game in the NPA.
Yep. Nice. Little front rim bounce. Way to dive on the floor. Xavier Blake, class of 2026. Made his presence felt hitting a 3, then diving for a loose ball. Love to see it. And getting a deflection there too. Another 2 points for Lincoln. 14-point lead now. Gurdeep getting out ahead. They fouled him. Clear path foul, says the ref. So instead of giving up an easy 2, instead now they're potentially giving up more than that. We're gonna have a quick timeout called, and then we'll be right back. All right, clear path, free throws hit by Gurdeep Kelsey. 16-point lead now for Lincoln, all of a sudden.
You got the refs and Coach Ange going at it. A little bit of humor, a little bit of sarcasm. That's okay.
Yep. Dialogue is good.
Dialogue is good. Communication is key. And I did like how that ref, you know, they may have had disagreement, but at least he communicated with the coach. I know a lot of times coaches get frustrated when there's zero communication from the refs and they just shrug off the coach.
Yeah, that's true.
That just kind of boils things up.
Yeah, the ref said we'll talk about it at halftime if you want. Which is good.
I quote, if you want to complain at halftime, we can talk about it. But it's all good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm noticing like a lot of lead switches, a lot of back and forths in different games, and I think part of that is the shot clock.
Yeah.
Keeps the game going, keeps it. You know, I remember the days where there was no shot clock before. We never utilized it.
Yeah.
In the States and a lot of parts of the States, they still don't utilize the shot clock.
Crazy.
And you would find like, okay, team goes up 20, they hold the ball. They hold it for a minute, 2 minutes, and it just changes the entire complexion of the game.
Yeah. For sure. You need that shot clock. That's how you get guys prepared for the next level.
That's what it's all about. The National Prep Association, about getting guys to the next level. Helping these kids get scholarships, putting them in the best situations, working with these programs in collaboration. We all have the same goal here. Yep. Everybody wins, we get more guys to the next level.
Gurdeep drives baseline. Fouled on the floor. Oh, but we'll head to the line. Bonus situation. First is good. So how about this stat line so far for Gurdeep Kelsey? He's got 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. On pace for a triple-double.
Wow. And there's still a full half to play. Another high-scoring game. You know, at least one team on pace for the century mark.
Yeah. Rendawa for 3, no good.
Excited to see Royal Crown in the next game make their NPA debut for the season. They are a returning member of the NPA.
Yep.
You know, they graduated. Josh Primo is the big notable player back in 2020. A bunch of early NCAA signees in the NPA.
Yep.
You have Sean Blake, Vermont commit. Vermont adds to a long history of recruiting. We've worked with the University of Vermont for the last 10 or so years, dating back to Trey Balhanes and Steph Smith, which, funny enough, to show you the longevity of everything. Those guys played at Bill Carruthers before prep basketball was a thing. Bill Carruthers was one of the first prep programs led by Coach Charles Antumakos, who's now the head coach
Wow.
at Fort Erie.
Full circle.
Full circle, right? So you have Sean Blake at Vermont. We have Ishan Khan.
Ishan Sharma.
Excuse me, Ishan Sharma over at Fort Erie, committed to Virginia.
Dom,
Who else we got?
Dom Pangonis committed to Wyoming.
Yep, that's three.
Polaris Prep. Had a quick timeout break. We'll be right back. All right, 3 minutes left to go in the first half. 10-point game. Lincoln Prep is up. Game 2 of the day. Got 5 in total today.
A really tight man-to-man coverage here from LBA. Five provinces represented across the country in the NPA, 12 teams. Ontario, New Brunswick, Quebec, Manitoba, and Alberta.
The national aspect of the National Prep Association is alive and well.
But we also have, for those that don't know and aren't aware, we also have MPHD 1 League. Now that is prep and academy programs, and there's a lot of great talents and teams in that league that will have an opportunity to qualify for NPA Nationals as wildcard bids. So the finalists are expected to participate at NPA Nationals, and the thought process there is to incentivize and provide opportunities for teams to compete at a high level, but also cross over to be able to have the opportunity to compete for the national title.
That's pretty interesting. A lot of opportunities for promotion similar to certain pro leagues in Europe.
Yeah, and I think it's about incentivizing development, growth, getting to the next level.
Big time.
Over 20 teams in the NPHD 1 League, which tips off next weekend.
Yep.
So we'll get a chance to figure out who's who, what's what. Yep. I mean, I think it's going to take a solid month or two. Going into the new year, I think, the narrative is starting to unfold for these teams.
Yep. Some notable ones I'm looking forward to watching is Cali Prep, Tri-City, Brampton City Prep, Renfrew.
There's just prospects all over the place that you don't know about, hidden gems to find. I know, a feature player in the MPHD 1 League. You mentioned Cali Prep.
Yep.
They got Taj Duke.
Yep, that's right. One of the top point guards in Canada. Cali Prep, definitely going to be a team I'm looking out to see. They got Taj Duke, DJ Burke, Austin Brown, a few guys on that team. So, and then Brampton City Prep, they got Janoy Walks, top 2026 prospect. So it'll be good to see. By no means is it a lesser league for the most part. Like, there are teams in there that can hang with teams in here.
Absolutely. No, I mean, there are definitely teams that can beat, um, beat teams in this one and vice versa. It's just a matter of, part of it was a matter of timing. Once we announced the return of the NPA, there was so much demand that we had to create another league
Yep.
to be able to run it properly. And it just kind of speaks to, COVID shuts everything down, puts the NPA on pause. It also changed the landscape of basketball.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you have, 50 quote-unquote prep programs, but I think that there's different categories associated. There's some of them have the scholastic element, some
Yep.
don't. So we're trying to just organize it in a way where we're trying to provide guidance for the programs as well as they grow, as they develop.
Yeah. For sure. A lot that goes into it.
Absolutely.
Oh. $52 seconds left in the second quarter here.
Another steal for Lincoln Prep. That's what they do. Love getting out in the open court,
Yep.
turning defense into offense. And I see Joe Musa, our head of scouting here at North Pole Hoops. He's got the national player rankings database opened up, making some adjustments. Charles. I actually wanted to take a moment to get Charles Hentumakos on the horn, the head coach of Fort Erie, who's also hosted us. I wanted to speak right into this mic here, but we're just talking about like the evolution of prep basketball. We talked about guys like Sean Blake, who's Vermont committed from Royal Crown. We took us back to Trey Belhanes, Steph Smith, where you started your journey. Talk a little bit about the coaching journey, because we always use that word ecosystem, where it's a web of people in the basketball community that some might coach pro, some might coach prep, some been in coaching high school for 30 years, but maybe just talk a little bit about your journey and a little bit about what it takes to like be in this thing with longevity.
Wow, loaded question.
You know how I do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously basketball's come a really long way from the inception of prep basketball in this country. Playing in a lot of quiet gyms. It was more of a, I don't know, I would call it an underground thing when it first started. You go back to when Wayne Dawkins started NPSAA, and that kind of transformed into OSBA, and we did that in 2013, 2014 before OBA got involved, and then the inception of NPA and how it's kind of scaled, and now we have the ability now more than ever to keep our talent here. And back in the day when we were doing this in 2012 and 13, a lot of the top kids were leaving down for the U.S. And there was a need for them to. We didn't have the resources to keep them here. We didn't have the platform to keep them here. It was a lot harder to get college coaches. You talked about Trey Belhanes. He's playing in the best league outside of the NBA right now, and Spanish league, and he won a bronze medal. I was begging college coaches to come and take a look at him back then, and now we're managing the coaches that are coming through the building and trying to figure out times and streamline who's visiting when and whatnot. So it's done a complete 180 from the beginning, from where we started to where we're at now, and I think the opportunity and the different platforms that the kids have, I think, is amazing to not only grow the game for the players, but also for the coaches and guys like myself that have been able to sustain a living and do this full time, and have the opportunity to also use this as a platform for coaches to be able to move up and coach at the professional level, and guys that have gone to the college level. You've seen an influx of Canadians in the NCAA now, which you didn't see a lot 10 years ago in that, and I think everybody's benefiting, and it's a great thing.
I wanted to ask you another question. You mentioned on the coaching side. Oftentimes I feel like, okay, we're celebrating the players, but coaches don't get celebrated, and the quality of coaching you'll get in prep basketball. I mean, take an example. You're a guy that's been coaching for how long in total now?
This is my 18th season.
18th season, but that also includes coaching at the pro level. So these players at the prep level are getting pro level coaching experience. Then you have example of Chris Exlis, Royal Crown. They just won a championship at the CEBL level. Then you have a new coach over at Ridley Prep. You have Victor Razzo. So you're seeing, and then you have the non-pros, but like the guys that are not coaching at the pro level, but a guy like Angelo Provenzano, a fixture in Canadian basketball for 20 plus years. So like the quality you mentioned earlier about we have what it takes now in Canada to keep the talent here, and that includes the coaching. But maybe touch on that in terms of the quality of coaching that these prep players in Canada get access to.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to personalize this and speak from my experience, having the opportunity to go coach overseas and coach professionally, coming back here, if there's one thing that I can say with conviction is we have amazing coaches in this country. You talk about a guy like Angelo Provenzano. Every time I coach against that guy, I get better. Mike DiGiorgio does an awesome job. Victor Razzo does an awesome job. Larry Blunt does an awesome job. Like, there's so many coaches, and I'm forgetting, and I don't want to be disrespectful. You know, everybody has a different story, and I think that there's a lot of phenomenal coaches in this country. You know, Gus Gymnopoulos has been instrumental in my career. I mean, he used to beat the heck out of me back in the day when I was at Crothers, and he's a big reason why I got the hunger that I did. You know, that guy embarrassed me on my home floor and out-coached me in every way, shape, and form, and that was at the time where it was either get better or continue to lose, you know. And I think we need to pay homage to the guys that did it, the Millers, the Ranas, the guys that were around long before us, that the Downers, no doubt. That Melnick's, without a doubt. Melnick's the OG, right? Without a doubt.
Names that come to mind are like the traditional high school programs.
100%. You even go back to Lou at Eastern Commerce back in the day, right? You know, so there's a lot of guys, and I think the coaching, I would say, a lot of people are recognizing how great the players are in this country right now, and you're seeing it, you know, with representation. We have the highest amount of basketball players in the NBA outside of the U.S. You look at the numbers, the NCAA, it's at a record high right now of the amount of guys, representation we have in the NCAA. And I think a lot of the grassroots coaches in this country, you know, they're a key part in that, right? And their development and getting these guys there. And right now the players are getting the respect they deserve, and hopefully the coaches at all of the programs in this country get it. And again, I'll circle back to what I said initially. Having coached professionally, and you know, I coached against a lot of former NBA coaches, G League coaches when I was over there, national team coaches from all over Southeast Asia, and that the coaches that you have in the NPA, the coaches that you have in the province around, they're just as good, if not better. You know, the difference is the platform that they're coaching on and the, you know, the level that they're coaching at. But because somebody coaches high school and somebody coaches pro, there's a lot of guys at high school that would out X and O a lot of guys in the pros. You know, and I think you see that with the development of players and just kind of the baseline level of talent in this country, and how every year it just continues to rise. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it, because I feel it's underappreciated, and I think it's important to communicate and educate the basketball, especially the youth, right, and the parents, like, to provide context to how long these people have been around, and we don't always have to look, hey, we got to go to the States to play prep basketball. I mean, it's been proven. You had one of your guys, Leonard Miller, from here, G League, NBA. I mean, and it's there's many examples of that now that have come through. So it's like at the end of the day, there are players that are coming, top elite prospects, global prospects that are coming from outside of the country to coming to Canada. So if the world's coming to us, why do we have to always keep, you know, chasing this expectation? So I guess last one for you is what do you have to say about that when it comes to, you know, having players, our top players, stay here, because it was happening pre-COVID, and then it kind of we took a hit as a country. But what's going to be required for us to be able to keep our top talent here across the board? And we still have a lot of top talent, don't get me wrong, but keeping the best of the best and then being able to attract world-class talent. What does that look like as a basketball space at that point?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously in a really competitive space, right? Programs battling each other, and you know, we're all trying to rip each other's heads off when the ball gets tipped off and whatnot. But I think we need to keep some semblance of togetherness and understand the bigger picture in this country. I think as coaches, the real coaches that do this for the right reason, they have a real servant mentality. And they want to serve their players. They want to serve their programs. And I think as long as we keep a semblance of that, and a unified front as coaches of what we're doing here is it's bigger than us, I think organically that level is going to continue to rise. But the other thing I would say is, look at how far basketball has come in this country. And this isn't just prep coaches. This is going down to the guys that are coaching 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, and developing that passion for the game. You know what I mean? And then you look at the guys that are coaching 11, 12-year-olds, that level has gone up. Back in the day when I played, those were dads. Yeah. And now these are guys that are former university players, some former pros that are doing this stuff. So the level is gone. And I just think the more we can work together in a unified front and do what's best for basketball in this country, do what's best for building our respective leagues, our respective programs, I think we're all better off long term with this, and I think everybody benefits from that. So I just think kind of that idealistic approach of working together and doing what's best for this country has got to be at the forefront of what we do. And don't get me wrong, I got a lot of great friends in this league. I've got nothing but respect for Mike and Larry and Juval and all these guys, Gus, Ange, all of them. When the ball gets tipped, I'm trying to rip your head off. Yeah. And then as soon as the buzzer goes, it's done. It's a wrap. That's it. And then we 24 hours in a day, there's 2 hours we're competing, and in that 2 hours, they're trying to rip our head off, we're trying to rip their head off. But when it's done, I think it needs to go back to the focal point, which is building basketball in this country. And I think the more that we do that, the bigger the platform is for the kids, the more college coaches we have come. If a college coach comes up to Fort Erie, the first question they ask is, where else should I visit? Oh, yeah. And I think monopolizing that as a program is really just hurting basketball as a whole in this country, because I think the more college coaches we have going around and seeing different kids and seeing the talent, the better off it is for absolutely everybody, because the same way we all talk, college coaches all talk too. And just because you have a Virginia coming in and recruiting Ish, he comes in, he sees, we tell him about another kid in another program that they might be interested in, and I steer them to an Orangeville prep. They go there, they see another kid. They might not want to recruit him, but Tony Bennett's got a friend at another program, and I know you're looking for a 4. So that's how this thing snowballs. So it kind of goes back to what I said. The more we kind of work together and keep our ego within the 40-minute game that we have with one another, and then drop it once it's done, the better off we are as a country. And I just think that's just going to continue to snowball what we're doing in this country as a whole.
Yeah, that's well said. And, two things that stood out in what you just said there is keep the game first. What's in the best interest of growing the game, and then the cooperation piece. And on that note, we're proud and excited with the NPA to be able to work with Fort Erie and work with all these programs to achieve that mission. And sometimes it gets with games, with competition, and with egos. It could easily change that objective and that mission. But I think as leaders, I think it's up to all of us to be able to. All right, let's focus it back on what's the big picture, right? So appreciate that, Charles. Thanks for joining us on the broadcast and dropping some knowledge. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Charles.
It's a pleasure, and just want to say I really appreciate everything with NPA. You guys have been absolutely incredible, nothing but professional from top to bottom, from coming in and setting up to broadcasting to getting games going on time, and it's been a real pleasure being a part of this league and being back. It's been great. It's been 3 years, right, since we had the last NPA, so we're really honored to be able to host the first session here and be a part of this league, and hope to help continue it grow, and appreciate everything.
Just getting started. That was Charles Hentumakos,
head
Charles. Coach and program head of Fort Erie, doing some big things here on the right around the border. And Joe, you heard all that. I wanted to kind of jump into the historical context of it, but what was your takeaway from some of that conversation? What stood out to you?
For me, that was a history lesson. Good education on, some of the legendary coaches dating back to, you guys are talking about Eastern Commerce days, and I've only heard some stories and that type of thing. But man, it just goes to show how much the people involved in the space care. Like the thing that stood out to me that Charles said is the servant mentality that coaches have, where you're putting the players first, you're putting the integrity of the game first, you're putting the success and the future of these student athletes first before anything. before anyone's ego. As much as we love to compete and as competitive as we are, when we step between those lines for 2 hours, as soon as that's done, okay, how can we continue to collaborate? How can we continue to help our talent, not just in the same gym here, but I like how he said he's telling coaches to go here and there as well. So, for me, it just goes to show, especially a guy like Charles, such a high-profile guy, he keeps this servant mentality as a coach and remaining humble, but at the same time just wanting to help players get to the next level. So that was a nice little halftime interview, and it'll segue us right into this third quarter.
And we're actually gonna see, we're gonna be bringing in a lot of special guests throughout the day. As I mentioned, we have Jason Tom from the CBL. We'll get him on at some point. But we also have Damian Gay, head coach of Roth Said Netherwood, founding member of the NPA out of New Brunswick. Would love to get him on here in the second half. They're about to play a tough opponent in Royal Crown. They're in a rebuilding year. So hopefully we can get that rolling in the next few minutes.
Here's Terrence Booker for LBA. They trailed by as much as double digits, but now clawed their way back. 7-point game for Lincoln in the lead. Turnover forced by LBA. They're running out. 5-point game. Here's Lippert. No good. Nice take there by Toby Zinwa. He's been aggressive this game, making things happen. Attacking, defending. One-point game now. Lincoln Prep watching their lead crumble. Gurdeep Kelsey for three, short. No good. Owen Frayne walking it down for Lincoln.
With a blink of an eye, all of a sudden it's a 1-point game, Joe. Talk to me.
LBA's taking the lead.
Wow.
Lincoln's come out a little flat to start this half.
As promised, Joe, we're going to get head coach Damian Gay on for a couple minutes.
Nice.
He's getting ready here behind us. Head coach of Rothsay Netherwood. No, I mean, I'd love to have you involved in the conversation if you have any questions. I know that you have a good understanding of their roster, and I know that he's looking to build for next year. So I'd love to have you. At least we can make a switcheroo with the headset, but then have you still in the mix. Just if you have any questions from a player perspective.
Sure.
Awesome. So we'll get Damien to sit here, and we'll give him your headphones. Coach Damian Gay.
How you doing?
All the way from New Brunswick, Rothsay, New Brunswick. How you been?
Been good. Been good. Happy to finally be back here. Happy that the league's in year 5 finally. A little quick 3-year hiatus, but I'm really excited to be back.
Founding member of the league is RNS, and just want to get you on to talk a little bit about your team. Saw you guys play. You guys are playing another tough opponent. Pretty tough schedule to start
Yep.
things off for you guys. Maybe tell us a little bit about the makeup of your team for this season, and also maybe give a little bit of background on the Rothsay program and what you're looking to do as far as building for the future going into next year.
I think culturally, this is what we want. We want to come in. We want to play the best. We want to start against the best. Our schedules are always going to be kind of like built in that way that we're playing against top teams in a 1-2-1 format, getting 4 games in. And we know where we are. We don't have unrealistic expectations, nor do we have small expectations. So we want to come in. We want to set some kind of standard in terms of where we are, and then we're always going to build up on that. And historically, that's what we've done. 4 years in the league. In the first 4 years of its existence, we were 0-12, and then we were 4-8, and then we were 8-4, and then we were 12-0. And I think there's obvious progression there in terms of what we were doing. And like I reminded, a couple of your guys, coming back to the league, we have nobody left on that 2020 team. Like, nobody is on that roster from 2020. So we are doing that process all over again. So for us to come in, obviously getting a lofty score against Fort Erie, getting a beat down yesterday against Edge. I've been there before. I know what that's all about. That's the start, all right? You're not judged on your start, you're judged on your finish. So I'm all about the finish, and I'm all about building for the future.
Speaking of the future, I'm a player in Toronto. I'm a player in Vancouver. I'm a player in Calgary. I'm a player in Nigeria. Anywhere in the world. I know you have some international flavor on that campus.
Yep.
What is the reason that I should consider Rothsay Netherwood as a program and as a school to attend?
First, for families, it is a family infrastructure. So about 75% of our faculty have kids, have families, and live on campus. Our campus is about 200 acres in mass. It's huge. There's about 20 buildings. There's 4 dormitories. It's a very family-centric place. Secondly, I would say we're extraordinarily diverse. We got about 20 different countries represented on campus. We got about 4 to 8 different languages, as many different religions. We're extremely accepting of everything that's world. All right, so we consider ourselves a world-renowned school. That's what we're looking to be. And then lastly, I would say we have infrastructure. Like, I tell my guys all the time, you want to be a pro, you want to go Division I, you want to play youth sports, you want to play in the NBA. I don't care. If you have the right mindset, we have the right infrastructure. And with the North Pole Hoops platform, with the platform the NPA provides, it's a no-brainer. Like, if you have the right mindset and you want it, we can do it at Rothsay. And then the other thing, too, is a lot of kids just need to get away from the noise. A lot of times it's just, you know, you're young, you might be crowned too early, you might put a bullseye on your back too early. You got to get away from the noise of centric cities or the noise of, you know, other guys are getting shine over you, so you never get your opportunity. We have a roster of 12. I'll never go bigger in a roster of 12 because I need to make sure I give everybody my time when they invest in our school and our program. So for me personally, it's about those 12 guys being the best that they possibly can be, and there's zero limitations on where they can go.
And in the time span since we've known each other and we've worked in the NPA with Rothsay, you've been able to graduate and show a lot of success stories to the next level. That includes youth sports, that includes CCAA, that includes the NCAA, and that includes a player from Toronto, like a Sam Alamutu, that was able to move on to Vermont. You have a guy like Kellen Tynes, who's a local Halifax, Atlantic Canada kid. As crazy as it sounds, is leading the NCAA in steals, and will probably do it again if we. And he did it in the NPA as well.
He did.
So it's been consistent. So I think the fact that you've been able to prove it, RNS has the proof of concept to be able to get guys to the next level, whatever that level might be, is a huge testament to the work that you guys put in. It is a private school education,
Yep.
a world-class education with a world-class basketball experience. With that being said, going into next year, we see you have some nice pieces here on this squad. I imagine you want to add some depth. You want to add some different prospects to the squad going into next year and also the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. If I'm a player and if I'm a parent listening to this broadcast right now, what are you looking for in a player? And what, first of all, like the character, the off the floor stuff,
Yep.
but then also on the floor, what are you looking to add to your squad?
I mean, Rothsay Netherwood School as a case school in Canada and as a private school has a lot of boxes. So culturally, you know, we're looking for kids that care about their communities, care about the people around them, are willing to invest in themselves first and foremost, and culturally want to make that place wherever they're going better than when they found it. All right, and that's kind of the simplistic way of looking at it. And I know most parents know their own kids, so they know if they're that type of kid. The other thing would be academically, you know, I'm a math teacher. I mean, that's my job. I get paid to be a math teacher. I've been a math teacher for 13 years. So
Yep.
I don't get paid to be a basketball coach. This is a passion of mine. So this is the thing that I do because I love to do it. So it's not something where, you know, I got to win basketball games because I'm worried about losing my job. I'm invested in the kids. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing, too. And then I make guys realize, yeah, I need a paycheck. I have 2 young kids myself. I'm married. I have a house, I have responsibilities, so I teach them all about that. Like, I need to go on the road and I need to make sure I stay connected to the classes that I teach, the students that I teach, because that's my responsibility. So that's first and forefront
Right.
of, you know, the RNS experience in terms of being road warriors and going on the road, staying inclined academically. And then on the court, I mean, we really try to keep it simple. I know that everyone works hard, everyone invests time. We just want to make sure our guys are getting better. So you say CCAA, U Sports, NCAA, NBA. I really don't care. When you show up in year 1, my job is to make sure the gap of growth between when you got here and when you leave is catastrophically huge. That is the major issue that I think most kids don't realize. When you get in certain moments where you think you're so good, you just ride the fact that you're so good. And if you don't have people around you that love you and want you the best for you, that you're going to plateau far too soon. And that's where, you know, if you use Kellen Tynes as an example, I mean, you know, he's a gifted athlete and he's a gifted person, but I never once looked at Kellen and said, you know what, you're good enough. Like, everything was always about making him realize there's more to get out of what you are, and I know you're exceptional, but you can do more, and he bought into that. And that's where the kids and the families really come on board. I mean, if parents are looking for the best for their kids, you know, having a teacher that's you know, married with 2 kids and understands responsibilities and time management, the importance to being, you know, on time, the importance of showing up early and leaving late, the importance of, giving time to your own family and making sure the responsibilities at the gym or in the classroom are still met. I mean, if I was a parent and I'm sending my kids somewhere, I mean, that's something that I'm looking for. And I always tell parents and recruiting families and even recruits, don't believe me. I have 29 alumni that I stay connected to. I have every phone number of their parents. I have every phone number of that kid. Talk to them. Talk to them and see what they have to say about their experience. And a vast majority, so we have about, 19 that are at the next level. We have about 20 that are about the same amount, or 10 that aren't playing basketball at the next level, nor did they ever play basketball at the next level. And they have jobs and they have families and they're moving on to the next stage of their life, and they still are invested in our program and see value in it. And the guys that did play at a high level understand the importance of those cornerstone guys too. So it's everything kind of in one place.
You're producing citizens that contribute to society.
Absolutely.
Outside of basketball, right?
Well-rounded young men going into the next stage of their life, not just hoop.
Awesome. Anything else you wanted to add before we get back to this LBA game? Lincoln, I know you got a big matchup coming up against Royal Crown. Anything else you wanted to add just about the program, about the season ahead?
I think for us, I mean, understanding what your mission is, understanding what the NPA's mission is with strategic partners all across the country. This is a unique league. And I think what people need to realize is that this is the league. This is it. And you don't evaluate where things are. And this is technically year 1 again. I know it's year 5. But in terms of what, and families need to know this, in terms of what is being produced by the NPA, this is not matched anywhere, in my opinion, in Canada, and I would argue south of the border as well. This league is the platinum standard of everything we do, and I think having those strategic partners, like you said, we've known each other for longer than 10 years. The relationship for me, I always evaluate relationship based on the investment of the other person into the kids that I produce, and it's been well beyond the fee. So, I mean, for parents, for anyone, like RNS is a phenomenal place. I've been there long. I've gotten married on campus there. I've had my first kid there.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I'm there, and for families that are interested, feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm very accessible.
Excited to get back to the season and to see you back in Ontario and continue to work with the Rothsay Netherwood School. These character programs want to grow Canadian basketball, want to help take it to the next level, and appreciate you joining me on the call. We'll definitely be in touch.
Appreciate it.
My man.
Cheers.
Appreciate you. And with that, back to the action. Less than 3 minutes to go. 68-63. That was Damien Gay, the head coach of Rothsay Netherwood School. Talking a little bit about the program, and throughout the rest of the day and tomorrow, we're going to try to get as many of the program heads as possible, catch up with them a little bit, and get the coach's perspective. Joe, going into this one, we did say it's going to be a tight one. The matchup is pretty good. I mean, teams are very similar, don't have any major size. They have some, but very guard-oriented. Both, I think, tough teams are competing. What have you seen so far?
LBA has actually come back and taken a 5-point lead after trailing by as much as double digits in the first half. Their stud point guard, Terrence Booker's got 16 points, 3 assists. Dilvy Randhawa's got 16. Toby Zinwa's got 4. They actually got 4 guys in double digits.
Wow.
So nice contributions across the board. Whereas for Lincoln, Owen Frayne and Gurdeep Kelsey are doing a lot of the heavy lifting on the offensive end. 3-point game now, so anything could happen. I think it's going to be a close one coming down to the wire.
I mean, we've seen a lot of close games this week.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been a couple blowouts and a couple potential blowouts, but guys stayed competitive. And one thing I noticed is, like, I've always noticed this about NPA games in particular, how much they care and how invested they are. You have teams traveling across the country, like they're playing on the live broadcast, like countries watching, coaches are watching. you know, they really play with a level of intensity where, you know, maybe at the spring, summer in the club scene, you might not see it as much. It's a little bit more volume games.
Yeah.
But these guys, they got 12 games and then the national championship to
Yeah.
show who they are.
Yeah. I think with the broadcast element, they know what's on the line. Like, you never know who could be watching. So if you're a prospect trying to get evaluated, again, you never know which coach is watching. And a good game could change your recruitment, could change the trajectory of your basketball future. You know, say you're under-recruited,
Yep.
but you come out here, have the game of your life, and a coach is watching, he's going to reach out, or he's going to reach out to your coach. Or you're going to be able to utilize that film and be proactive and send it out to coaches yourself, right? Like,
And it's full game with context, with,
yep,
you know, the play-by-play.
stats too, right? So,
Joe Musa,
you know,
the scouting reports.
a lot of times, you know, in a dream world, players, you know, want to get reached out to by coaches. They think they're going to have a good game and they're going to, their phone's going to blow up by coaches. A lot of times that just might not be the case. So you as a player can actually be proactive, utilize your resources like game film, like stats, scouting reports, and you can actually, whether it's on Twitter being proactive because coaches are on Twitter all the time looking for information, you could even as a player find the contact information for coaching staffs and even reach out to them yourself and send them an email. That shows initiative on your end. Say, hey, coach, you know, would love to play for your program one day. Check out my film. I'm playing in the NPA. I'm averaging this and that. Again, that shows initiative. If the coach doesn't respond right away, there comes a time where coaches are going to be recruiting players, and they might think in the back of their head, like, you know what? That one player reached out to me earlier this year. That showed initiative on his end. He attached stats. He attached game film. All that, you know? So it'll just help increase your chances as a player. You really want to turn every stone when trying to get recruited, especially in this day and age. Player branding is big. Being active on social media, Twitter, sharing your film, sharing your stats. I got players on Twitter that tag me and stuff all the time, and I'll always give them a retweet because, again, you never know who's going to see it, right? And it could go a long way. So that's what it's all about, recruitment. That's why we put on this broadcast. That's why we do live stats. That's why we put on the NPA. It's for the community, right? What do you say all the time? Made a product of the community for the community, something along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last night. We went back to the Airbnb.
Yep.
Said, listen to the people. I think that's the best thing we can do. Like, listen to the community. What do they want? What are they saying? Where do we need to improve? Where does Canadian basketball need to improve? What's needed in this space?
Yeah.
You know, even the return of the NPA was by popular demand.
Yeah.
We didn't just wake up one day and say, okay, we got to bring the NPA back.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's the community's being served, then hey, it's all good. We don't need to you know, step in. We just want to be a complementary piece to the space.
Yep.
And work with people, work with media, work with other groups and partners, and just collaborate, right? Because we talk about, now you got me going. We talk about like the concepts that it takes to win a championship as a basketball team. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of use those same concepts, communication and leadership and ego management and great energy and all these things. Take that and put it on a more macro level of looking at it as a basketball community. How do we win championships as a basketball community?
Wow, that's deep.
Right? Like, in other words, what does a championship look like? Like, for these NPA teams, they're literally chasing that trophy in March, right? For us, as a basketball community, to me, there's a lot of ways you could define it, but to me, one of the ways is being able to have an attractive product where these kids in Canada, you know, the next RJ Barrett's, the next Andrew Wiggins, is like, they're coming out of here. AJ Lawson, which we have proven that. But doing it in a way where it's working together with other entities in the space, other major entities in the space, because if we come all together, that's the only way we can get it done. That ecosystem word, that web, like, we're all tied together whether we know it or not.
Exactly.
We just got to kind of understand it. So to me, that's what a championship looks like.
Exactly. We're all better off working together and collaborating for the greater good. Lincoln Prep, end of the quarter, got a shot up, no good. 71-67. It's going to be a close one. We can guarantee that. Fourth quarter action coming right your way.
I got the interview on video.
Oh, yeah? Which
I just turned it over.
Oh, okay.
It was in the bottom corner of
Damien's or Charles?
Charles.
Okay. Cool. Good looks. Because you can use that for if you see someone, if you're solo, hey, come on over, or is that something that
I don't know.
you might need some time?
It might feel a little forced.
Okay.
Maybe I feel like I gotta prepare some questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Which could be like generic questions.
Yeah.
And I don't know how them. Sometimes coaches might feel more comfortable than others on coming and talking on the spot.
Yeah.
Like I feel Damien sat down.
Yeah.
He had some stuff to say.
Charles, I pulled him up right. I mean, for me, it comes kind of like natural because I've done it so much. But if that's what you need to feel comfortable, definitely like prepare, have those generic questions. Good.
Fourth quarter action coming at you live. This is game 2 of the NPA. LBA and Lincoln Prep both looking to get into the win column here. Both of them playing their second game of the NPA season. Three-pointer. LBA up 7. Their biggest lead of the game. I think they've really dug in defensively.
This game could go either way. Going into it, that was my thought process. Who's going to execute? Who's going to step up in crunch time? Got Mike DiGiorgio in the house. Royal Crown about to make their debut. Looking forward to checking those boys out.
Yep. Got 2024 point guard Sean Blake, who's just committed to the University of Vermont. They got top 2025 point guard Justice Hazley.
Yep.
They've got 2024 6'10 Declan Cutler from British Columbia. They've got a couple 7-footers, one Denny Chang. Looking forward to seeing them play. They're going to take on RNS.
Really like what they're building over there at Royal Crown, based out of Scarborough area. They've really done a good job of, recruiting, trying to ensure a level of professionalism in how they do things. Also a private school education opportunity out there. They brought in Mike DiGiorgio, who's, like I said, from Oakwood, coached at Oakwood, coached at U of T, long time was the lead assistant. He's coached with the Scarborough Shooting Stars, so a plethora of experience at all levels.
Yep.
So a guy that could tell you, hey, this might be the best situation for you to the next level. It might be U Sport, it might be NCAA. And looking forward to see what they look like. Have you got a chance to see them this season?
I saw them at an exhibition event, at Bill Crothers.
Yep.
So that was good. And then I got to obviously watch their practices in the preseason. Strong guard play. Isaiah Spencer is another one of their guards as well, 2025.
Speaking of guard play here, we got Cole shaking and baking, passes it to Kelsey. I know in the last game that Lincoln played, Joe, they kind of stopped executing fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They kind of started wasting possessions, and you saw a little hint of that right now with 8 minutes left in the quarter, but they got to execute to be able to try to pull this off.
Nope, down 8 here. Owen Frayne off the pin down, no good.
It's a good shot, though.
Yeah. 10-point lead now for LBA. They've got 5 guys in double digits. That's a recipe for success. Kelsey looking to make something happen, gets to the mid-range, no good. It's like LBA's just figured out their tendencies and what they want to do. Gardip can't finish. They just got a lid on the basket right now.
You know, I think Kelsey's next level is just getting stronger physically, because I could tell like he gets bumped a little bit or gets a little bit of contact or gets in the air and gets a bit out of control with that body control. He's missing a lot of gimmies.
Yeah.
He could have added like another 15 points in the last 2 games that I've seen. But he does such a good job of getting to the spot. Just got to be able to finish that.
Yep, for sure. Got a quick timeout break. 7:05 left to go in the fourth. Don't go anywhere. Stolen off the inbound by Lincoln. And they convert. There you go. Create easy baskets with your defense. That's one thing they did a good job in the first half when they were up by 10. They were getting transition buckets, getting out and running, letting their guards push the pace, hit guys in stride.
Who's going to step up for Lincoln? Down 8 with 6:30 to go. I'd love to see Kelsey, between Kelsey and Cole, to try to manage some offense, get a good shot.
Good
London
defense.
putting the clamps on, yep.
Yeah. Dilvir Rendawa with the, I believe they called the offensive foul.
TMU was in attendance, formerly Ryerson University. Had a scout out here. McMaster University has been tuning in.
Yeah, I saw Waterloo day 1. They came in.
Yeah.
University of Buffalo. And then multiple coaches tuning in online that I've been in contact with. Xavier, Texas Tech, Indiana State.
And those coaches and more will get your scouting report
Exactly.
at the end of the session. You know, so I mean, you just named a list of programs that everywhere from high major to low major NCAA that are watching, as well as youth sports and CCAA. Yep. So, and that's what you're seeing on the floor. You see a wide range of talent that fit those levels.
Yeah, there's a level for everyone.
Really interested to see in the next game how John Itapoken, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, how he performs against the Royal Crown. It'll be a great measuring stick just from an athletic
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, that'll be a good test for him. And one. DaCosta.
Tyreek DaCosta, 7 points on the board right now. 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He's at the line. Owen Frayne and Gurdeep Kelsey leading the way with 16 apiece for Lincoln. On the other end, your boy Terrence Booker, lead guard, leading the way with 16, along with Dilvir Randawa with another 16 of his own. But you said it earlier, like LBA is really showing their depth. They got 5 guys in double figures.
Tough shot by DaCosta. Mid-range specialist.
Starting to heat up.
Good D by Lincoln. Forced the turnover. Down 7, 4:09 left.
Stats courtesy of Swish app. Make sure you download, if you haven't already, download the app for live stats of every NPA game this season, as well as other games within our ecosystem, grade 8 to 12 club basketball, as well as NPHD 1.
That's right.
Oh, wow. Kelsey with the spin move and the finish.
Needed that.
Was able to get it this time. Got bumped on the spin and was able to finish it off.
Looking for his 19th point at the line.
It's looking like he's going to be one of the league's leading scorers from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Gets 20 in his sleep, it looks like.
Yeah, he's going to have no shortage of opportunity to get shots up either.
Yeah. He's got the green light, and he's taking it.
Yep.
And Lincoln needs it. You know, they need his offense to be able to compete with the best in the country. Looks like they got the full court press on here. First time seeing that.
Oh.
Great defensive effort there. Forcing a turnover. That's a great call by Coach Chris Matthew there. Just kind of threw, like out of nowhere, threw the full court press on him.
Gurdeep in the lane. Nice move.
The utilization of the pump fake started all of that. Got the defender off the ground and was able to find the crack.
Three-point game now.
Down to the wire.
Yep. Timeout, LBA. They're going to talk it over quickly for the final 3:12.
All right, 3-12.
Well, the hammer, Joe, to your point, has been dropped several occasions over the weekend.
Yep.
Got a couple big dunks, big highlights.
Yep.
Who's had the play of the session so far? What's the biggest play that stood out to
I'm
you?
still going with John Ikpatoken from RNS in the first game against Fort Erie. He went baseline and just punched it on someone.
Okay.
Definitely going to go back and find that clip at some point.
Highlight reel worthy.
Yeah, for sure. He's had like a little highlight. Oh, nice. Gurdeep turning up. It's crunch
Gurdeep
time.
digging deep right now.
Yep.
You got Joe clapping over
Yep,
here on this
I like that.
You know, we said we feel like he has the capability to step up and take over games, and he's definitely been doing that. Didn't do it in the last game, but he's definitely stepped up in this one.
Yep.
Couple big plays. It just seems like he's always getting and one buckets.
Yeah. Showed a little emotion
Ooh.
too there after the and one. You got to convert that though. He's had a couple free throws this quarter. Owen Frayne with another steal. He's just always playing hard.
Mm-hmm. Here he goes again, trying to draw contact, no call.
They're going to take their time, get a quality possession. Good call. DaCosta. Is he going to get to the mid-range again? No, he gets all the way to the rim. Oh, a little tumble on the way down. The lead is regained by Lincoln. Multiple lead changes in this one. 2:31, crunch time is upon us.
Let's go. Who wants it more?
Yep.
Gonna leave day 3 with a dub. Shout out to everyone tuning in on the live broadcast.
Yep.
From coast to coast. Catching 2 West Ontario squads, Hamilton and London going at it right now.
Lead regained by LBA. We're just switching leads now at this point.
Tie ball game, right?
Up by 1. Owen Frayne all the way with the layup. Back and forth.
Frayne's quietly putting together a big game.
Yeah, he plays hard. Pesky defender. Can score, can shoot. Nice steal. All the way. Finish. 3-point lead now for Lincoln.
Turning this thing around.
Booker, no good.
Oh, big tip.
Toby almost tipped it back up and in, but couldn't get it to go in the basket.
Let's see if Lincoln settles down. They're in control right now. They need to stay in control.
Yeah.
Drain some clock.
DaCosta to the rim, easy lay. 5-point lead for Lincoln. 123. Quick timeout by LBA. Don't go anywhere. Yeah. And we're back, 123, 5-point game.
Booker with the ball in his hands.
Good idea. Getting to the lane, getting to the line, stopping the clock. Still a lot of time.
Big free throws. DaCosta shaking and baking. Great defense by Booker. Shot clock violation. It didn't hit. Didn't hit the rim. That should have been a shot clock violation.
It looked like it might have been on that last second. No call either way. Get the lead back up to 5. They're gonna need a shot. One possession game, Joe. What do you do in this situation if you're...
Quick steal, if not, foul. Shot clock's off, you got to foul.
And they look like they're... There we go, finally. 13 seconds to go. Big free throws coming up.
Yep. First is good. Big free throw. Make a 2-possession ball game.
Looks like they're talking it over with the score table. Timeout.
Yep. They're going to talk it over quick, and we're going to return. Second free throw is good. 5-point game. LBA's got to go quick, 10 seconds. They might have to go for a 3 here. No good. That's going to do it. Lincoln Prep gets the victory, their first of the season. LBA fought hard. They came back. They took a lead. But at the end of the day, Lincoln Prep walks away victorious. Don't go anywhere. We got RNS taking on Royal Crown next.